with good hair are allowed on here.
That's not true.
That is not true. You have
Like,
Dylan on here on a regular basis, and Adam has no hair.
well, it wasn't inviting Dylan. It was inviting his piss couch.
Oh yeah, that seems
That's
reasonable.
that's what I wanted to see.
Dude, that
Yeah.
that couch is a special shade of ill urine.
Oh, for real,
It's
for
like a
real.
kidney infection. Hello, everyone.
Hey, on that
It is.
note,
Oh, Matt, when was the last time you and I were on a live stream together?
I don't know, but I think it ended with the people calling the cops on us.
Oh, probably.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What had happened was we were texting. When was this? Yesterday? 2 days ago? I can't remember now.
2 days ago, I do believe. I think it was Monday.
2 days ago, we were texting, and I don't know, the conversation come about John Ostrander
Oh, yeah.
and just about his books in general, because I always talk good about him. But I was
Me
like, well,
too.
comparing and contrasting, his all in a way kind of ranking his stuff. And I was thinking, I've never done that before. I've done that with authors and I mean book authors and everything, but
Hmm.
like Mike Wilkins, that's right. I've done that with book authors before, and we joked about this and that, and comic books in general. But John Ostrander is so prolific in the comic writing world that I've never done a top whatever with him, or not top whatever, but just looking at all his books and just examining them as a whole. Like it's a fresh topic.
Yeah.
Let's do that sometime. So we
I,
thought we
I
did.
I
10 books.
think if it weren't for him and Jan, we wouldn't have the quality of the Dark Horse comics, like as a whole.
No, and that's another thing I need to go into at another time is the art of the comic books. Because you and Alora from OG Star Wars who does art, y'all can look at that kind of stuff and talk more about it than I can. But to be honest, there's a lot of good artists I should have highlighted in my
I
entire reviews.
I have a soft spot for Jan DeRusso because I actually got to talk to her fairly recently.
She's fantastic.
Oh yeah, and she's a really nice person. Um, I don't know if you read Hexer Dusk,
No, no,
their
but I know
sci-fi.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was going to ship to the burned down house, and I shot her an email, and she within a day reached out to me. We talked briefly, and we sorted it out. So I have a
That's
signed
awesome.
copy of Hexer Dusk.
It's worth it. It's worth it. They collab. It's nice to see them still collabing. After all the years, because and I've said this before on one of my nightcaps that it takes a good artist also to deliver a great comic book. Not just the writer. You need a good artist to portray that vision. And if you don't have it, the comic book suffers. No matter how good the story is, the comic book can suffer from bad art.
Oh yeah.
And when it's jarringly bad, like I can't believe I hated in comic books. This is back in the '90s when they would just outright just switch out a new artist,
Oh
and it was
yeah.
like it wasn't even soft difference; it was hard difference, and you just like ugh. And I remember that stopped me from buying the comic book. It would stop, even though I was interested in how the story went. The artwork, in my opinion, just got downgraded. It's like, what is, when people doing the Limp Biscuit ones with the big shoes and the
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what
baggy
you're
pants.
talking about.
And I was like, I hated that style back in the '90s, and
Or
everyone thought it was really cool. And I remember Impulse had the biggest feet in the world; they're disproportioned, and I was
oh
like, I don't want to watch, I don't want to read this. And I think Robin or someone else, everyone was going with the big feet. I was like, that's so
yeah. Well,
stupid.
that was the Rob Liefeld thing.
Oh, well,
You know,
yeah, 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 it was.
where he gave Captain America's pecs were like D cups. It was so
Mhm.
lopsided. Everything was
Joker.
in the '90s was like pouches and big feet, uh, utility belts, and just everyone was roided out. Do you remember? You remember they were called the Power of the Force 2 toys for Star Wars, the '90s figures where everyone was built like Schwarzenegger. They did
Yeah.
like the Shadows of the Empire figures. It's like everyone, like in toys and in comics, they were
Yeah.
all, as our old friend Tim would say, misshapen.
Misshapen. There you
They
go.
were very, very misshapen, and it just looked funky. But what throws me off is with the new. I don't know,
His
like
couch.
new. Oh my god, Dylan's kidneys are acting up again. Clearly,
I heard you guys talking about this. Oh, got
Hold
it
on.
upside
Here you
down.
go.
there it is.
Put some light on it. What is it? Oh, Husker Dust. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
How is it?
It's really good, actually. It's one of those things I wish I didn't read because I got to the end of it and I'm like, well, now I want more.
So I just finished Dawn of the Jedi, the comics, and that's how I felt. I'm like, can we have another 5 arcs in between this last arc and these first 2?
It was really bad, but I mean, I can't fault them for that.
I will say this: it could have been. I'm going to throw this out there. Could have been on par with Legacy
Now,
if it had time.
before we go into these, I want to address Jeremy's favorite series, the Brian Wood 2013 Star Wars.
You know, I've read worse now from Disney, but yeah, that's pretty heinous.
The art, the story is horrendous.
Oh, the art. We remember when they messed up C-3PO? C-3PO has one expression. It's like the easiest thing to draw. And it made C-3PO look like he was scowling. It was like, what?
But so Husker Dust was good. What's it about?
It's about a guy, Zane Hexer. He's like one of the last Hexers, which is essentially like royalty-free Jedi, but they don't use lightsabers. They just use like guns, whatever. And it's just him. It's just him going about his days as like one of the last Hexers, because like there's like this disc. There's this like generic brand empire basically that's trying to hunt them all down, and he's trying to get by and like hide the fact that he's a Hexer. It's it's basically it's Legacy, but like but it's like royalty-free Legacy is like the best way of describing it.
Oh.
So you're saying it's better than Legacy 2?
Yes, very much so.
Although I do like Legacy 2. It's not Legacy 1.
Yeah, it just had everything going bad for it. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same people doing it. It came at like the time when Dark Horse arguably stopped caring, and then it also came at the time when hey, you got to wrap this up. This 50 issue like thing you were doing, you got to wrap this up in 3 issues because we're closing shop.
Yeah, I will say this though. It was the best thing coming out of Dark Horse at the time. We had, what was that? Rebel Heist was going on. Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, is another Filoni Clone Wars thing that he kind of references. He's kind of proud of that one. I will say, being someone who finished up The Clone Wars, that is something that is referenced in the new canon because it's both canons.
Yeah,
even though he contradicts everything else that's written for the Clone Wars, including the Ahsoka novel, he didn't contradict Son of Dathomir. I'm not sure why, but I don't. It may have actually been a script, and that's probably why.
Now, before we start, I need to let Dylan know. Dylan, I forgot to mention, we have a Chuck E. Cheese here.
Okay.
So if you want to move down, Chuck E. Cheese trips.
I need to get some.
My girls love Chuck E. Cheese, Dylan.
Here's the thing, Matt. This is something your viewers need to understand. I don't know if I'm moving. Even if I am moving, I still have over half a year left on my current lease. So even if I do move, it's not going to be for a while. I just might have signed my last lease at this current apartment. That doesn't mean I'm moving soon.
That's not going to work for me. I need you to break the lease.
Before me.
Say what?
He's going to move before me because I just signed a lease at a place, my first place to live alone.
I know. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It took roommate, my junkie roommate, and his gang friends trying to jump me to get me out of out of that place.
All right. So the conversation
Comics.
is John Ostrander. And
Perfect.
like I said, I just haven't just kind of analyzed all his works. I mean, I've analyzed them individually, of course, but all together, I've never really talked about something like that before, and that's exciting to me because it's an exciting conversation. So I'm just going to look at his body of work here. I'm looking at Wikipedia, so I don't know how reliant that is, but it's the quickest thing I could find. He did some stuff on here that was interesting, some stuff that I'd forgotten about, some stuff I wish I'd still forgotten about, but kind of wanted to go through here. I guess I'll just start on how the bibliography writes. He did Agent of the Empire, a
I
comic book
love it.
I did not like.
I know most people didn't, and
But
I
I'm not.
will.
Oh, really? Okay, so it wasn't. Well, I
I
don't
don't.
remember.
I don't know. I'm the only one who really talks about, as far as I know, that talks about it in a positive light. And it's because I'm a huge James Bond fan, and I thought it was a fun take to have an Imperial Bond. What? I don't know.
I
Have you
don't know
read
about
Knight
that.
Errant?
Have you read Night? Yeah, have you read
Yeah.
Night? He's not.
If KOTOR was his only body of work within comics, you would have an argument. But unfortunately, Knight Errant exists.
Well, if you look
And
at
Lost Tribe.
if well,
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
was that a comic book? Oh,
There was a comic,
it
Spiral.
was. Okay, so if you look at the whole body of work, John Ostrander didn't hit home runs either, in my
No,
opinion.
none of
Now,
them.
why did you like Agent of the Empire? Because I'm not a James Bond guy, so
At the time, I was suffering severe Star Wars fatigue. KOTOR had just ended, and that was my absolute favorite comic for years, just because of how the characters in it and stuff. Because back in the day, I was more of a KOTOR fan than a Legacy fan, mainly because I thought Legacy floundered for a little while. It found its feet, and I eventually did finish it. But at the time, I gave up on it. Gave up on it right around like issue 30.
hmm.
Hmm.
And I didn't pick it up until we
That
started.
was the Claws of the Dragon arc, I believe.
Yeah,
I think.
actually, I think I went a little further. I gave up at Vector. That's where I
Vector.
ended.
Okay.
Vector.
Actually, no, that
Vector
might have been
killed-
Vector. I think Vector was around 35-ish.
Vector, the most funky thing that John Jackson built. Actually, that's not true.
I
Because
don't mind Vector.
I hate Vector.
Well, again, the thing with Vector,
I agree. A little far stretched. I agree. However, that was a nice way to do a crossover. That was
yeah, it's the best way you could do a crossover because
plus
that?
It depends on who handled, because I think Legacy handled Vector very good. It didn't distract.
Yes,
KOTOR did as well.
KOTOR, I think, did the best.
Well, KOTOR did the best. That's where it originated, right?
Yeah,
but you're right. Rebellion and it kind of bounces around Dark Times, and it doesn't flow well with the story. It kind of takes a break. But I thought Legacy incorporated it pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it did better than Rebellion, which ended the series of Rebellion, which was Empire originally. That's how that ends, and it's very disappointing because it doesn't really wrap up anything.
Who is that?
I don't
know. There's not a face to that avatar.
Am I the only one who thinks the art style of the new Marvel looks a little off? I asked Jeremy. He's the only one that's read it.
This is actually, by
it's
the way,
awful. It's heinous. I will say it is. It's worse than Brian Wood's Star Wars. You know what it reminds me of is if any of you read The Star Wars, the alleged first draft of Lucas's script, which is a complete BS. It's several drafts, and then those authors made a bunch of crap up. It's like any of those where like William Gibson's Alien 3 or Dan O'Bannon's Alien. It's not the original script. It's just they have notes from it and they write their own story. But that had some pretty heinous art in it.
Just to let you know that I couldn't do that Because it'd be like, oh, so Matt hates this New Jedi Order. No, I love all the New Jedi Order stuff. I mean, the only thing that really sucks is Invasion, the comic book series.
Yeah.
That's really
Which
it.
I was shocked that people like that.
Oh, I don't know. Well, and here's Evan. I agree with this. It could. I don't remember the Dark Times. I'll have to look at the Dark Times story arc, but it breaks from the story, and it's just kind of. To Jeremy's point, it does just take you out of the overall story arc to do this side story that has nothing to do with the main story, and then they just zip back in.
Yeah,
like,
and that's
you know how if Vector had just been KOTOR and Legacy, I'd probably love it. Similar to like what they did with Exar Kun between Tales of the Jedi and Jedi Academy. Like that would have been excellent. I mean, it will be a little rip-off-ish because it's been there, done that, but it's still. I don't know. I kind of always like when that happens, like the tie between Tales of the Jedi and the Star Wars comic strips.
Well,
which technically wasn't a thing until Kevin James. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The Dark Side Beast from Sith War.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was smart. Yeah.
That is incredible. Yeah.
David J. Anderson was a big fan of that old Marvel series, and he always wanted to know where that Sith Beast came from. And then he said he told me about it. He said, I just had the perfect idea. I said, hey, you know what? Why don't I say that was a beast that Exar Kun left for, to kind of surprise some Jedi. But when the temple got blown up, it got buried. And so it's been sitting there for years, and that's why it awakens on Yavin with Luke. And I was like, that is so smart. My only problem is the beast looks different. And but the old Marvel design wasn't kooky crazy. He could have made it look very similar to that beast.
Yeah. He wanted it to look like a Sith of the Sith species because they were there.
I get it, but and he did say that is the same Sith that Luke comes across. So I guess time has changed it. I don't know, which is possible.
I mean, it's been thousands of years.
Oh, yeah,
it's been it's 4,000 years between the two.
It doesn't bother me that much, but still, if you're trying to stay true to the Marvel, I mean, because that's where what's his face from Young Johnny Knights, the pilot.
Yeah. I can't remember his name either.
Just talk about
same here.
Huh?
I don't know either. I know who you're talking about though.
Dang it. But anyway, that's where he came from. Was from a comic book issue that Kevin Jameson always wanted to know what happened. So that was really good. Rebellion Vector's hot garbage. There you go.
I think the bigger thing with Vector and how we got this started is that yes, like if you're taking the whole story, Vector of each of those comics, Vector is probably the weakest part of that. But I don't hold that against any of the authors or the writers that did that because Vector was almost this story that was forced upon them, not something that they came up with.
Yeah.
So I don't hold it against any of their like overall careers that like the Vector was it because it's like they had to do it.
Quarrel. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Was that
technically both because Misasi are Sith, but technically.
Well, that's what we're getting to now. So Jeremy liked it. I did not, but I don't like James Bond type characters. And that's kind of what as is fashioned after. So now we're listening to Dylan, and Dylan's going to give his final opinion.
I mean, I think it's the weakest of his stuff, but I think it's solid.
Hold on. All right, let's see who I agree with.
Let me see.
I'm just kidding.
You better put that back.
Agents of the Ape. It was kind of a meh for me.
Yeah, it probably is the weakest now that you say it. I'm looking over the rest of the body of work. One thing that I keep forgetting he did the old Boba Fett comic books, the Boba Fett one-shots. I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, those are awesome.
I did not know that.
Every time I read one, I was worried they were going to screw up Boba Fett. But every time it was an interesting story that, it was just a regular, just misadventure. And they were good. They were fun.
Did he do Blood Ties?
Let's see.
El Claws of the Dragon was 15. Okay, never mind.
Hold on, I'm looking. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He only did one. Boba Fett Agents of Doom. I don't remember that.
Agents of Doom is awesome. I can honestly say
Yeah.
that just about every Boba Fett one shot until we got to the
No,
Blood Ties minis.
that was now this was interesting. This was a later comic book, and I was against it coming out, but then I saw Cam Kennedy and I shut my mouth, and actually very much enjoyed that. I'd forgotten about Agent of Doom.
Oh yeah, that was my introduction to Cam Kennedy's art because Dark Empire was super out of print at the time. So I didn't get to read that for a long time until I stumbled across a hardcover at a comic book store.
I'm wondering. I need to go back through. Someone needs to go back through my videos. Did I review that one?
Yeah, you reviewed the Boba Fett one shots.
I did
You got
review
all.
all the Buffett's ones, but I think I reviewed just the original Dark Horse ones. Was Agents of Doom part of that? Maybe so.
Yeah, yeah. It was part of originally when they collected and trade. It was called Death, Lies, and Treachery,
No, I mean,
and
did
it
I
was.
review it? But yeah, you would know, I
Hey,
guess.
Matt, I gotta hop out for a bit. I'll probably be back in like 10 minutes.
Oh,
So
okay.
Be
All right.
careful.
Go for it.
Don't get too wet on that couch.
see ya.
Okay. When you got
It's
to
a
go.
gross couch. I know. He's just
go.
gonna move. He's gonna flip the cushion over and just go on it.
I forgot to mention that I would buy him a Chuck E. Cheese stuffed doll too. I got to sweeten that deal. Got to sweeten that deal. I need my girls to say Uncle Dylan.
Not Uncle. Don't they? They have an Uncle Jeremy.
Daddy, why is Uncle Dylan so sad? Okay, let's get back here. I'm so far behind on these.
It's all good. For a hot minute, I'm like, what are you responding to? And I'm like, oh, I don't have the comments up.
Selling comment. Thoughts on manga selling comics? That's your question. Manga selling better comics in the current market?
I
Have
don't know. I
you
don't. I
moved
don't
over to
follow
Japan?
either.
I don't know.
I,
My buddy CJ would answer that one really well because he still
yeah.
reads it.
Matt, this is gonna
He
shock
did.
you. I haven't picked up a new comic in almost 2 years.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are out just because it's just kind of
Yeah. Well,
gone in the
the
garbage.
big two are just bad, and I couldn't take the last. Oh, good. Can we talk about how? What's the language on Nightcap? It's been a year since I've been on here. What can I say and what can't I say?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the last comic I read was called Money Shot, and it was an independent comic. I think it's either Boom or Image came out. I think it was Boom, and it's about these scientists that are trying to fund their science projects, going and visiting alien worlds. But in order to do that, they film interspecies alien porn, and it was actually pretty funny.
Is this why Dylan had to leave? Did he know this
This is
conversation?
why Dylan had to leave.
Daddy, why does Uncle Dylan cry when he thinks no one is watching?
Sorry, everyone. It's been a while since the three of us have been together.
Okay, hold on. So the next one, just going to go through these.
Yeah, let's get through these.
The Clone Wars, the Wind Raiders of. Oh yeah. One of those little. It was the one where Ahsoka's riding that bird creature. It's the book.
Oh, that's bottom tier. I didn't realize he wrote that. That's
I didn't
below
really.
Legion of the Empire.
I don't. I won't say that's garbage because I don't remember.
No,
I don't.
no. But the thing is, you don't remember it, and that's a problem. I don't remember it. I may not have read it. I don't know.
Who knows? Toleran or whatever. Yeah, I don't remember that. I have it, but you know what? To be honest, to be fair, I enjoy those little book comic books. I
Oh yeah,
enjoyed.
I enjoyed them more when they were Clone Wars Adventures and they were the Gingy Tartakovsky
No,
spinoffs.
that's the one. I'm sorry, those I enjoyed.
The Dave Filoni ones, they were, some of them were made into episodes that contradicted what was in them. They were
Well,
funky.
George Lucas would read the comic book. He'd say, "Hey, make an episode about this," but then they changed things up. What was that Clone Wars book about Anakin and the slave trader and stuff like that? But they did the
Yeah,
episode, but they changed the planet, the people, and I was like, "Wait a minute," because I kept watching the episode. I went, "Why is this familiar? I've never seen this. Is a new episode." And then he
that
copied a comic book. Well, George told him to copy the comic book.
yeah. No, George Lucas loved the Dark Horse stuff.
Yeah, he used to read it. He's like, "This is gonna stop, but make this an episode, but change everything." And I was like, "Why the same thing happened to him twice? The same exact situation, just different planet, different people." All
There
right,
was
hold on. Keep talking. I'm sorry.
there was this weird with that episode, because I haven't thought about that in a hot minute. Do you remember the weird sexual tension in that episode between the slave owner and Anakin?
Yeah, it was weird.
In a children's show.
Yeah, it
And then
was
again,
weird.
Ahsoka barely wore any clothes for the first couple seasons.
I was,
When she was like very much a child.
yeah, it was the whole thing. Oh, anyway, so I don't remember those. I'm not going to say it was bad because I don't remember it, but I'm not going to say it was good. Then there's one that we talked about. He didn't write the entire series, but he was on the run for a good, strong while, and that was Star Wars, which ended up being Star Wars Republic.
Yeah, he specifically his Quinlan Voss stuff.
His Quinlan Voss stuff was really good. His Clone Wars, I mean, he did that's the height. Do you know who this is?
I've never seen this person ever. Why are they on here? Thank you. You got to get.
I don't think I've actually even talked to Stupid Chainsaw before.
Yes, we have, because I watched you get destroyed by Ryan Kinnell.
Wait, Ryan Kinnell? How so? Wait, hold on.
Okay, hold up.
At least I don't get destroyed like B-Level does.
I don't know who that is.
I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. That is a redacted name here.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't talk about trash here.
But anyway, anyway, the Ostrander run on that novel.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got this.
Can I digress?
Well, hold on.
Do you know how expensive that is?
Hold on.
Really?
I'm gonna actually show you what the. Hold on. There are a few actually that are quite expensive.
Oh, I know, because I had to pull them up for the PG&E lawsuit.
Two in particular. Here they are.
How much?
These two in particular are quite freaking expensive. Wind Raiders, not so much right now, but this one is.
Yeah.
And this one.
I saw those going for like $1,000 a piece.
No.
Matt, did I tell you how much my Star Wars EU collection was worth?
Oh, I'm afraid to ask how much.
$50,000.
I'm not there yet, but I've probably sunk over $5,000 into my thing. It's appreciating in value.
Then you're saying mine's worth over 100,000?
I mean, a lot of yours is signed.
A lot of mine
signed by people that aren't alive anymore, if I'm not mistaken.
I got the Dig magazine. I've got the rare hardbacks. So interesting, but that I don't need to let Megan hear that, or they're gone. They're all gone.
I call my EU collection my nest egg now.
See, that's the thing. I don't look up every individual comic and book because I have the single issues too.
Yeah, that'd be a pain. But I had to. PG&E was being really petty, and so I had to look every single thing up.
Well, the Anyway, did you recently read Wind Riders of?
I actually just got this in the mail today. By the way, I'm probably going to complain because they said the listing was very good. BS.
I mean, at least you got it.
I mean, yeah, but it's also by Titan Books. It's the UK version, not Dark Horse. So that's another pain in the butt. Yeah, Titan, the people who do Star Wars Insider publish these in the UK.
It takes 5 minutes to read.
It takes about. This one's quite thick. It'll take about like 10.
Well, let's see it. Come on.
Is it third grade level?
No, it's not third grade level. I mean, hold on. Speaking of which, we have the fifth grade level. I know. The digest actually.
I'm happy to see.
You're making me lose complete. You lose face.
Okay, hold on. Time out. I didn't even know it came out. I got the fifth Firefly book by James Hargrove. Man, that guy can write Firefly. James Hargrove. I wish he would have written Expanded Universe. He is really good. He can capture an IP and really, because I'm reading this. I'm only 2 chapters into it because I just got it today and I'm reading it. Anyway, so it already feels like an episode, and a really good one too. I've chuckled a little bit. I'm having fun. The banter back and forth has been great. And it just got me thinking, man, James Hargrove, he's just, I don't know what else the man has written, but I'm interested. This is an author outside the EU that's kind of gotten me excited. And I don't know the last time that's happened. All the other authors are dead that I love. So it's rare that I find one outside of Kevin J. Anderson, of course, that I'm like, man, but this guy's been very impressive to me. I'll look up his thing later on. But
you're not a Stackpole fan?
No, I like Stackpole too. What makes up the bulk of your value, Jeremy?
It was partly the Dark Horse omnibuses, and I had first prints of most things, especially with the Dark Horse like trades. I had mostly first prints. I had things like I had all the Sci-Fi Book Club hardcovers. I had the Lando books in hardcover. I had the Brian Daley Han Solo books in hardcover. I had all New Jedi Order in hardcover. I had everything that wasn't printed in hardcover. I had a lot of those 30th anniversary Dark Horse hardcovers. Not all of them, but I had quite a few of them. But like it was weird crap, like the Clone Wars Digest stuff that was worth money. I guess it wasn't printed a lot. They didn't make a lot of prints of them.
Of what specifically? The
Dave Filoni Clone Wars comic tie-in, Digest ones.
Here's the thing. I think they made a good portion of them. The issue right now is it all goes back to the scalper market, and this stuff hasn't been reprinted by Marvel yet.
Yeah.
That's where.
Oddly enough, my most expensive novel, folks, is the Robert Jordan Wheel of Time Book 1, Eye of the Beholder autographed.
That's true.
That's probably the most expensive thing I own. But especially when that TV show comes out, it's going to be nuts.
What if they just released the pilot again that they made?
What horrible! I stayed up on FX to watch it because I saw. Remember, you could see it on your. And I don't know what was going on. I was like, "Shut up! What is this?" And so I watched. I was like, "That was garbage." I didn't know why it was showing, and I was like, "What is it?" I didn't know what it was. Like what? Because they didn't even announce it. They didn't advertise it. They just had to show it. Was it like 4 a.m? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was to hold on to the rights. It's like on that.
Yeah, that's all it was. But it was shown at 4 a.m. on a Saturday or Friday. Anyway, I woke up. I set my alarm. Woke up, watched it because I was like, "What is this?" Because I thought it was gonna be like some secret thing. And then I asked Bruce, I said, Bruce, did you see that garbage? And he said, what garbage? I said, the whatever it was called. I said, I hope that's not the series. I said, it sucked. But then only way later on did I find out that it was, it wasn't even meant to be it was just something to hold on to the rights. It's like, oh, that's garbage.
I don't know if it's worse than the Willow books.
Those are so terrible. I'm glad they're doing a Disney Plus series to wipe those away.
I just bought I got a lot of movie novelizations, and they threw in one of the Willow tie-ins.
Hold on.
And I thought it was the Willow novelization. I'm very disappointed.
I'll pay for your first 3 skee ball games.
Dylan, did you invite your neighbors in to pee on the couch? Because it looks more yellow.
You think I know my neighbors? Did you all get
that couch a golden shower?
By the way, I have this theory about my neighbors.
Okay.
Did they pee on your couch? That's probably factual.
So the postal service worker at my workers at my apartment complex are terrible. So I end up getting at least 2 or 3 times a month, I'll get one of my neighbor's mail in my box, and I'll go over and I'll knock and be like, "Hey, I got your mail, right?" And they'll be like, it's literally the next one over. It's like, "Okay, thanks." And I came to the realization a month ago. It's like none of my neighbors have ever done that for me. Have they been getting my mail and just not telling me, or is it just that is it only their stuff is getting in my box, right?
Let me tell you something that happened that was like this. I ordered a book. I ordered Republic Commando Omnibus Volume 2 that has True Colors and Order 66 in it. That's super expensive. I got a decent deal on it. But they put it in my neighbor's box, and they put my neighbor's package in my box. So I was responsible and took the package to property management because I already had to talk to them. They just left their box wide open overnight, and I ended up finding it. Someone could have stolen it at any time because our mailboxes are outside.
Hey, John, I've never seen that online, so I don't know how much it would be. It would go for a pretty penny if the paperbacks are going for around 100. The hardback would go for.
I can tell you exactly what the paperbacks are going for right now.
Go for it, sir.
Oh gosh.
By the way, John, email me if you want to be on. I'd love to have you on.
So the median overall price is around $200, but the most recent ones have been going for in between the 125 to 150 range. There hasn't been a sale since the 13th, though.
That's all right.
Evan, did you get one?
Yeah, I got one. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely picked that up. I only got one copy though. I was gonna
scratch that. One literally just sold for $102.50.
There you go. So 500 maybe. If that's too bully a market for a hardback, then correct me.
Probably more.
Did you just say $102.50, Dylan? That's not a number.
$102.50.
All right. Hey.
$102.
Don't make fun of my future neighbor. Adam,
I will. Matt, I wouldn't brag about that. That's lowering property value.
You may have to get.
You let that couch near your
a
street.
lot of these. I see nothing wrong with getting digital copies, especially when they go on sale. They went on sale a month ago or 2 months ago?
Yeah, for May the 4th.
I picked up some singles on that.
And I'm sure they're going on sale again, so just watch for those sales and flash sales and pick up as many as you can, to be honest.
Also, I think if you have Marvel Unlimited, you have access to that stuff as well. Could be wrong.
A lot of it.
Was that the 2015 one, John? The 2015? Back in the day? That's awesome. Hey, Dylan. He just found out about X-Wing, and he's interested.
Oh, X-Wing is fun.
$35 for a lot.
A lot means a package. Feels like a steal. A lot of pieces
of the ships. And
okay. A single expansion just for one ship. MSRP is at $15.
It's at 15 now. It was 15 for what?
Yes,
the TIE Fighters and smaller ship. It was 15.
Yeah, it's 15 for those, and if you want one of the bigger ones, they're like $30. If you're getting multiple ships for $35, you need to buy that yesterday. You need to accept that deal before whatever like brain parasite is causing them to think that that's a good deal. Like it dies off, and like they get their common sense back.
Hey, Dylan, really fast, because I haven't bought X-Wing in a while. Remember, like back, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, when the K-Wing was like completely sold out for like a year or two.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Both of these guys play it, Bernardo, and they love it.
Yeah, X-Wing is a lot more of it's a lot simpler of a game, which is great because it comparing it to Armada, there's a lot less moving pieces, but the games are a lot faster. You can get an X-Wing game done in like 30-45 minutes, whereas an Armada game can take like 2 hours. So it's a lot better. Yeah.
I told him about Armada. He's not interested in Armada. He's interested.
Yeah, X-Wing is very
Armada. This lot has the Millennium Falcon included in it, Dylan. So he should go ahead and press the trigger on that.
Another question on that is that X-Wing first or second edition? Because right at the end, Fantasy Flight did a second edition X-Wing, which has a new set of rules. Now you can still use the new set of rules with the old ones, but the ships are updated, and that like completely destroyed a lot of the market for it. Because what happened was with the second edition, they had to re-release all of the ships that were in first edition into second edition. So a lot of the later waves of first edition went out of print, awaiting reprints for the second edition that unfortunately never came.
Yes.
So a lot of the later waves are almost impossible to find now.
However, you can buy conversion kits for them per faction. They've got an Empire and they've got a Rebellion one.
So, if it has the Millennium Falcon, that's easily
Paperback Movies released a video and they teased you with a book that they passed over called Elvis, Jesus, and Coca-Cola. I don't know why for $1 you wouldn't buy that. That's just, it's a no-brainer there. It's a no-brainer. That the title alone says it. But anyway,
I will say this: my paper movie co-hosts, are too afraid of certain books. They will not do Basic Instinct on the podcast, and I want you all to lobby so that we just do Basic Instinct for book club. Come on, people, we need to get this going.
Dylan.
Its second edition is fine. I don't have a problem with second edition.
Dylan, no one cares anymore.
Well, I haven't played second edition.
Hey, Tabletop is asking. I don't. Second edition is fine. It's more of the aspect of because of second edition, a lot of the older ships aren't available anymore. That's more my problem with second edition was the taking so many ships out of print because there was going to be a reprint and then never reprinting them.
Yeah.
Wait, are they done with second edition now? Like,
they're done with the license.
Wait, Wait, when did the license expire?
Last year.
Yeah.
Did they not renew it?
No.
I don't know. They're going to focus on their own created content. I heard they're going to. I mean, this is just what I've heard, but I heard they're going to focus on Roombound. Is it that was called Roombound series?
I think so. Yeah.
The Roombound series, and of course, Descent is coming back as a standalone. It's not coming back as a third edition or reprint, but their stuff's still for sale. It's not completely out of print yet. I mean, maybe now, but whatever's in stock in stores is basically it.
That's honestly disappointing.
To me, the only disappointing thing, there was some good stuff, but I will say the most disappointing thing was I was hoping they were going to reprint West End Game stuff. Because they did the 35th anniversary of the core rulebook, which I did buy.
I did too. And the thing about that is when I was at Chicago, I bought it at Chicago. I asked them, are you guys going to reprint any adventures for it or anything? It's like, nope, this is it. This is a single issue item. It's like, okay, cool.
Now, I wanted to wrap up the discussion there about Republic and Star Wars. John Ostrander took it over. Created some really great characters, memorable characters, kept it through the Clone Wars, and really did a better job than almost everyone did with the Clone Wars. Clone Wars stories in the novels were not as strong as they were when John Ostrander's writing.
Yeah, John Ostrander and Hayden Blackman. Hayden Blackman did some real good stuff.
I should also give credit to Hayden Blackman, too.
Blackman did Jabim, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
And
about
on the novel front, Lucino's Labyrinth of Evil is a great
but it's a good one
ending.
too. I'm not saying they all sucked. I'm just saying that I remember that
But
Republic series really
I
shined
will,
for me.
Matt, I will agree with you. Things like Stealth and Siege are barely even books.
They're horrible.
Wild Space, most of Republic Commando, Cestus Deception,
Nope.
Well,
junk,
hold
just
on.
junk.
Hold on.
Forgettable.
Wait 1 second. I actually enjoy Wild Space for what it is. I actually kind of enjoy Wild Space because I enjoy Wild Space because it creates the link between Kenobi and Organa. I enjoy that.
But that could have been a short story.
It could have been
on too long. He didn't have a story to tell. They were trying to fill pages in that. With the comic book to me, and Ostrander and Blackman did this, is they built, and no one did this in the novels. They built the camaraderie between Obi-Wan and Anakin as peers instead of student master now, and they formed a true relationship so that you can feel the heartbreak later on from episode 3.
I feel that more like with the end of like the Jabim, like what was it? I forget if they gave it like a specific arc name, but like when he rescues Obi-Wan from what was it?
Ventress.
Yeah, there was that, and I think Obsession really kind of built upon those two areas the best. And I think the Free Comic Book Day one as well.
That's a great topic. Blackman would be in my top 5 easily. Maybe number 2. Ryder Wyndham would probably be in there. John Jackson Miller, because he did some good. He did not because of Knights of the Republic, would be in there. Of course, Kevin J. Anderson, Tom Beach would probably be in there too. That may round out my top 5. But then, of course, there's other people. There's that one guy who did Twin Engines of Destruction. That's the only thing he wrote, but I think that's the best Boba Fett single shot comic.
It's fantastic.
I thought it was great. So,
if only we got the prequel comic to that with Jodo Cast and Dengar.
I mean, there's a lot of good comic writers there. Maybe I should do one on that too.
But I have a question. So we can agree that John Jackson Miller really stands out better in his comic book work than he does his novel work, correct?
No, because Kenobi is really fantastic.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Kenobi is, I think, the one okay thing I think that's come out for him, like the really great thing that's come out for him novel-wise. But if we look at Night Errant,
he only wrote 2 novels.
Well, Night 3 technically. If you count
I can't. The Sith is short stories, and I don't count that as a novel.
You can't grade that one. So.
Technically, they're a bunch of novellas and then compiled into a novel. So I count that as
stories either. But the thing is, I think John Jackson Miller was on and off. I mean, when he was on, knocking it out of the park. Right. I mean, obviously home runs. There's a lot of people who would put Kenobi their number 1 or number 2.
I don't. I didn't like Kenobi.
There's a lot of people who would put Kenobi.
Geeks Attic, I think that's his favorite EU book.
I don't. I've heard people say 1, 2, or 3 in a lot of their lists that I used to look up back in the day. And I'll be honest, it missed out on mine, but I put it in my top 20. It's a solid novel.
It's in my top 10, definitely.
Oh, I know. And I can.
It's my absolute favorite novel of the Dark Times era. That between episodes 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
I even put. I don't know. Lando Calrissian, the Mind Harp of Sharu. I think that's pretty.
That's his name. Thank you. But anyway, so I wanted
to. Hold on. What about Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader, though?
It's fine as far as James Lucino goes. I don't know if I've ever finished it.
Oh, you didn't?
I don't know because I think I was reading that right before the fire happened. And so I haven't picked it up in a few years.
Now, do you remember that? I remember that. I was going to say, do you remember that day? But I remember that day where I was in and I was about to set up for a class and I got a call from you that morning. I was like, that's odd. It's really early his time. And so I call you and you're going, I said, what's going on? He's like, hey, house burned down. I said, what? He went, big raging fire, woke up, Dad's yelling at me, get your stuff, let's go. And you're like, what? And you see it coming down the hill. I was like, wait, what? And you just
Coming
kept
up a canyon. Yeah.
And you said, and you were just talking about, yeah, I mean, I'm driving right now and we're getting away from it. And you got separated from your family in the car, well, on the road, and then had to take a detour and we had to stop to get gas. That's when we stopped. Oh, well, that guy was helping you out, siphon some gas for you. But I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? And it was like a just whirlwind. But it was the funny thing was Megan was pregnant with the twins, and you went, oh, by the way, how's Megan feeling? Like in the middle of it, you said that. I was like, Joey, did you just tell me that your house burned down? He's like, yeah. Is she all right? She's doing all right? Yeah, she's doing fine. But it was shock. So what was going through because there was just so much just blah 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 blah. He's like, okay, I got to go by.
Was this California wildfires that happened a few years ago?
It was the campfire.
And actually, his town was in all the papers. All the horrific shots you saw was filmed in his. I mean, was shot in his town. And so
good way to dox your friend there, bud.
No, it's
I'm joking.
The town doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, God.
Going there.
It's just listen.
There are people who live there.
Huh?
People have moved back. So not all 90% of it burned, but like there's people are rebuilding in there. I'm not one of them.
Please comment.
I want to say, and here's Kenobi was pretty good. Yeah.
So
and here's one. See that calm? It wasn't that he was calm. It was just the adrenaline of getting out of the house in time.
And probably shock.
Well,
it's just
you guys want to know what happened right before?
Go ahead and tell everyone. I'm gonna get some.
And I haven't talked about this before. This dude tried to steal.
Dylan, if he stops crying, just take over.
Look at Dylan on his sultry urine-stained couch from the weird
Tell your story.
golden shower. But no, this guy tried to steal my car, and like we almost got into it in a gas station parking lot. And I was like, I'm gonna have to fuck this guy up. I'm gonna have to shoot this guy. And he ended up backing down, but it was freaky. And I'm like, well, shit. I have like nothing left to lose.
I would have been I'd be like, hey, I know you're probably just trying to steal my car to get out of this fire. Jump in.
The only thing
we were in another town.
In another town. No, screw that then.
Yeah, no, he literally was like trying to fight me because he wanted the cell phone charger out of my car, and I said no. And he tried to get in my car, and I had a cat in there, and I'm like, no, you're not gonna take Buddy.
Wait, if you were smart, you would have just let the cat claw him to death.
Oh, dude, no, why would I do that when my 12 gauge was in like grabbing range? Like, no, I think not. No one's gonna steal my car after my house burned down. In fact, that car was my house.
Wait, you had a gun? Wait, hold on. You had a gun in California? That's a
He lives in a different part of California.
Okay.
I live closer to Oregon than I do to Dylan. It's a good thing.
After all this happened, okay, we hear about it. We get notification at work about what's going on in California. It's like, oh, because I thought I was still kind of confused. I was like, what's going on? And that's when Dylan called me and says, Matt, you're right. Playing with matchups is a really bad idea.
Dylan,
so
did
awful.
you really do that, man?
No, I don't know if it was you or Brian that like we had it was for one of the Twinsons donations up in Tenderloin, and I had to make like this 6-hour drive, and it was at the time that fires were going on, and I was looking at my route, and I had to drive like through the fires. And I tell people like, well, I mean, we got to do it. But after that, we made the decision that like, yeah, we're not going to have anyone drive out to. We're not going to do an event where anyone has to like drive like more than 3 hours. But it was fine. There were plenty of detours. The fires have been going on for a while at that point, so there were plenty of detours.
Already safety networks.
Okay.
So.
All right,
yes, you can. I'm working on that.
Hold on. So the next, and Scott, we're talking about, we're trying to talk about Ostrander comic books here.
You made the mistake of putting Evan on, and Evan derails.
I know.
Me.
I regret it, but that's okay. The next one.
It's good derailing.
I'm telling you. The next series he wrote that I forgot about this too was the Jedi one-shot series from 2003. The Mace Windu, Shakti, Aya Secura, Count Dooku.
Oh yeah,
they were decent.
They were fine. They have really good art.
Let me remind you guys really fast. I've got something to tell you guys after the stream that I want to show you guys, but no, those Jedi one shots were really good. I personally liked. Okay, are we just gonna laugh now?
No, you see who joined?
Should have had a plan.
Should have had a plan.
Yeah, funny thing about those Jedi comics is I think the Yoda one, that was the only one where they integrated like the computerized artworok in a good manner.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even that. That was done by jeez. I don't even think that was computerized artwork.
It was for funky. the last few pages, I think.
Cheese and crackers. I don't even remember that.
It's funky. It's a funky story too. It's the weakest of all of those.
Here's the thing. No, I actually like Yoda a lot, but I'd probably say maybe Aayla Secura. Probably.
Aayla Secura was what my favorite was Mace Windu. That's the one where Sora Bulk what was his name? Sora Bulk betrays the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Well, he reveals himself. Not really so much betrays, just kind of reveals the truth.
Oh, was that in the book?
What?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, thanks, Tony. That dude is a busy dude right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He's a busy dude. I agree with this comment. We talked about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think they work well Mace together.
Windu,
yeah,
in Mace Windu, you get to see Quinlan Vos versus Mace Windu again, where Mace Windu's like, "You shouldn't be using that style," and we get Quinlan Vos once again. He's kind of walking the dark path.
Who taught you to use Vepad?
Yeah, and then
Sora Bulk retrained me. He told me he taught me a little bit of it.
Hey Tony, if you're still around, it was a few days ago or last week. I can't remember. I had a dream that I'd visited you, and you were on a business trip trying to get a person to get their work, sign a contract with them and everything. And I don't know why I was in there, but I started talking to him about something. I can't remember that we both had in common. And he goes, "Is this guy with you?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, he's a friend of mine." He's like, "You know what? Not only do you get this contract, but I'm using you. Your guys are exclusive all throughout the state." And you're like, "You just made me $2 million." I mean, it was so weird. And I was like, "That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you and everything." It's like, I'm happy I could help. Don't drag me to one of your meetings because it will not go like that. But I just thought that was a weird. It was a good dream for you. You made tons of money, but I was just happy to be there. I was like, "Oh, I'm just happy." I mean, we just talked about it. He's like, "How'd you know he was?" I said, "No, he just said something." I was like, "Oh, he likes that." I can't remember what it was, a movie, a game, or something. But I was like, we have that in common. Anyway, sorry, just random thought. We're doing randomness here. Okay,
Dylan, if there are coins in your hands, I want you to show your hands right now. I don't trust you. Thank you. You may proceed.
So, one, we've talked about it a little bit, but I want to hear Scott's thoughts on this one. So I haven't heard him talk about this yet. Dawn of the Jedi, the comic book.
I haven't really read the comics. I flipped through it.
Okay.
But the artwork's good. That's a Jan Dursimo one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Evan.
Scott was in the middle of his.
It's hard for me
he wasn't,
to say because I didn't read it.
You were not paying attention. You were on your phone.
Yeah, my friend won't leave me
alone. A dog posing as a woman. Jeremy.
Yes.
What'd you think of Dawn of the Jedi?
I love it. You know that. I will get
But
more
the
into
ending.
detail about why I love it.
Please go ahead. Wait, real quick, Dylan, you haven't read Dawn of the Jedi comic book, have you?
I have.
Okay, I'll get to you next. Go for it, Jimmy.
It could have been the next legacy. It had that potential, and it had that drive. Unfortunately, they skipped from arc 2 to arc number 8 because they had to finish up.
And that's not their fault. I told you that. I mean, and I agree.
No.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But here's the deal. I don't think it could have been on the planes of legacy. I know what you're saying because they had a lot of interesting hooks. I've already mentioned the Rakatan losing their force powers was very intriguing to me. Probably the most. But, you know, you wanted to see where some of the characters were going to arc because a lot of the characters didn't get a chance to shine yet.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, Zesh's brainwashing is very rushed. And if they had had a bunch of arcs in between, it could have been
Zesh is
very
one
good.
that I was interested in. He needed time to grow. He was probably the most interesting one. But regardless, that doesn't mean that anyone else could have had a good story. The thing is, if you look at the number of issues before they had to wrap up real quick, you look at the number of issues Dawn of the Jedi had gone, and then you look at the number of issues that Legacy had gone, the same account. Legacy grounded me more, and I was more invested in Legacy after those first, 15, 16 issues than I was Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess getting into my thoughts, I thought Dawn of the Jedi had a really good start with Force Storm, and I thought Prisoner of Bogan really, it was all right at first, but it really started to drag, and I think that kind of made the whiplash of going from the end of Prisoner of Bogan to Force War all that much. Like, I think that's why it feels like it's such a skip, because you just have Prisoner of Bogan kind of meandering about, and then you instantly Force War is the invasion is right now. They're fighting the Jedi.
Right, and then also I have to get the word war in is what he was also thinking. But
that was part of the contract at the end with war.
I'll say this: I did not like how they were depicted. I was really hoping for the Ralph McQuarrie artwork where you have the backpack connected to the lightsaber. I wanted to see those type of Jedi and Dawn of the Jedi. I just thought that was just be a great connection to start making, and I felt that was a huge missed opportunity. And I didn't. To me, it started off a little rough, got interesting, and then unfortunately had to end. I say unfortunate because I was still, but I can't say it was bad because it's not his fault. It got cut off too soon and got rushed. But at the same time, and I had some invested interest in it toward the end, but I had more invested interest in Legacy over the same kind of issues. So that's why I would say Legacy was probably would have outshined. But it would have been interesting to see, Jeremy. Would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other thoughts on Dawn of the Jedi?
I've yet to read it. However, I do have all 3 trade paperbacks now. So
good.
Thank you. Some people read their books. I'm just saying. Some people. Scott, do you read? Do you read the book yet?
I do read them. Not as much as I should, but
okay. No,
I do think
he's an honest man.
This is not Sunday school. I'm not getting on to you for not doing.
I do think Uzab makes a great point.
What?
I do think Uzab makes a great point about too many characters, not enough development. Because in Dawn of the Jedi, name one character outside of Zesh.
I can see them, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's a good point. No, it's a good point. Whereas in Legacy, you could name all those characters after the first story
Trill,
arc.
The other Force Hound.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well, that's because I just read it.
Isn't one named Shada? Could be wrong. That's a jab at you, Dylan, right?
No?
No, I don't like. I don't like iJedi.
Probably me. I'm telling you, it's terrible. It's terrible.
iJedi is the second worst thing Stackpole's ever written.
How does Chuck Union keep getting into these?
Okay, I will talk about the last one is Legacy. I'm just doing these based on Wikipedia here. Everyone knows what I thought about Legacy. I've just recently reviewed it all. We'll go with Evan. Evan.
I found Legacy to be, again, just very solid. Like,
Okay, Dylan.
Very few actual flaws in that story. However, I'm just trying to think.
I wouldn't say flaws. I don't think there was that much lull, and I don't think there were many wasted issues, in my opinion. They could have tightened things up to included war, and I really wish they would have, instead of making its own little mini series afterwards. However, I felt the whole series flowed really well.
It did. It definitely did. I don't know. I have a attacking Mon Cala again, though. That's the one arc that just kind of got like, just because I don't find that very creative to always keep attacking Mon Cala.
That was the tragedy. Those were the oppressed. Those were the people we felt sorry for. Those were the ongoing war. I didn't mind that.
Right.
Jeremy?
I would love the series if Cade Skywalker wasn't so unlikable for the first half of it. It's the point. I get that. And I get that we need to have a Skywalker that's different, and I appreciate that. But he is so selfish for the majority of it. It's so frustrating.
Have you seen the show Rescue Me?
Yes.
He is that character. The character
I know,
but screws up, and you get mad. You're like, no, you're heading in the right direction. Why would you just light a match and walk the other way? And that's exactly what Cade Skywalker was. And I'll be honest with you, I felt the same way. I was like, this guy is a jerk. But I was like, oh, kind of like that. You know, it's a difference. Skywalker doesn't have to be the truest, the faithfulest, the Gryffindor of the group.
I know, but like the whole thing, it was honestly, it was too abrasive at times. I mean, like, I don't know. I liked everyone else, literally all the other characters, except and Cade has his arc, which is good. It's really good, especially when you get to war. It's like, okay, this is what we've been building to, and it's wonderful.
What?
Oh. Yeah.
Let's see the Old Republic War.
Come on.
And then Legacy War.
Let him chuck in.
Hold on, we're all going to leave for just a moment.
Force War.
We're all going to leave for a moment. Hold on.
It took me a moment to figure out who that was.
No one outside of us is gonna understand that.
I'm sorry, I just had to let that go on for a little bit longer. That was great. That was a great one.
That was pretty good.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a mute button, Evan. Anyway, the Legacy of the Force, Dylan. I mean, the Legacy comic book. Excuse me, Dylan.
I've always said this is my favorite comic series of all time, at least in, I guess of all time, because I don't read a lot of comics outside of Star Wars. I will say though, and I think I've mentioned this a few times. Well, I think it's great. I think there is a little bit of an issue with the early orderings, the issues, and that's in that you have it start out in like Broken, which is a 6-part issue, but then after issue 3 of Broken, it goes to the story about Joker Squad just randomly, and then it goes back to Broken. I don't know if there's a better place to put that, but I don't like. But
I think it had to do with they weren't finished with it on time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Was a stand-in issue.
Okay, I love that issue, by the way.
It's a good issue. It's just because of the way it's like when you're reading through it like chronologically or like in issue order, it just takes away because it's like who are these like why are we following the Stormtrooper squad in the middle of all this stuff that's going on with like Cade and like setting up the main story. It's my only major gripe about it aside from the Vector stuff, but again, that's not really.
I don't think that. Now, first off, Scott, have you read Legacy?
Yeah, I've read it.
I don't feel that Vector steered away from the storyline. I thought it integrated the current.
Oh, it did it pretty good.
Mhm.
I thought it meshed pretty well.
Yeah.
I think it did it well. It did it as well as it could, but it still felt like an add-on. It didn't feel 100% organic, at least to me. They did it. It was fine the way they did it, I guess. But
And
I'm glad you
Uza
signed
brings
6
up
months.
a point.
I'm glad you
with
still have 6 months left on your release. I'm gonna have to give it some time before I forgive you for that statement. Go ahead, Chairman.
Uza brings up a point that actually ties into what Dylan's saying, because this is an issue too that I totally forgot about. Is you remember his Jedi girlfriend he has that
Yeah, you put him
that
in the
gets turned
tent.
into like a Darth Vader and just never talks
I
again?
would say Jedi girlfriend, Jedi turned Imperial Knight girlfriend.
Yeah, but not the one that wasn't. What was his main girlfriend's name?
Delilah. That was
Delilah.
another part I didn't like, is them him constantly like going with other like
Yeah,
infidelity.
that was frustrating. Plus, because Delilah's a babe.
All right.
I just
She's
wasn't
okay.
able to women.
So Scott, your thoughts on the Legacy comic book?
So I'm a big fan of Darth Krayt. Ashard Het is probably my favorite character overall in all the comics. Just his
how epic was that reveal?
It was.
It was incredible. I screamed.
There's not a single person who saw that. I didn't think anything of it. And
That
then
was
when they gave that reveal, I was like, that was a drop the comic book moment. I was like, oh my gosh.
That was in issue 16, right? Or 15, right? I think.
Yeah, because I was collecting the singles, and I literally screamed out loud in the car on the drive home, and they're like, "What's going on?"
I read it as it came out, and I think Legacy of the Force was being written at the time. It wasn't concluded. It wasn't finished. So you weren't sure if that was Jason. You weren't sure who it was. I had a strong inclination that could be Jason, that used, Sith powers to extend his life, that far down the road. But it was big. And
a great a synopsis there. That would have made sense. You would have convinced me. I was too stupid to think that there was anything, but he was just a big bad Sith in the future.
That's what I remember at the time.
I would have bought that.
Oh, but didn't he have the Sith name Kaitis already by that point?
No,
rebrand.
I thought
I'm not sure.
I thought he got the Kaitis name 2006 or 7.
Either way, I think that would have made sense to me. And he got it way later in the series because there was a big naming campaign.
Because he's not Kaitis until Sacrifice.
Yeah.
So toward the end, or toward the last third of it. But that, Scott, I would have bought that idea. But I mean, when it happened, and boy, I guess we should have just said spoilers before we did this. But
sorry,
and I'm going to say spoilers here right now, folks. So just mute until I do this.
Everyone, just mute your mics.
I'm gonna ask. No. I'm asking the people to mute their computers if they don't want to hear spoilers. But I'm gonna say this, and I don't think there is, but there could be. Are there bigger twists and reveals in Star Wars comic books than that? I can think of one that I thought was I enjoyed. It wasn't a big whoa moment. It was just, I'm so happy that they're moving the story along, and it was a surprise to me, but not as big as Darth Krayt. Mine was from Michael. If anyone wants to know, it's from Michael Stackpole's Battleground Tatooine story arc from X-Wing Rogue Squadron.
That I still need to collect.
There's a character from Tales from Jabba's Palace that makes a reappearance, and you thought which I thought was really awesome. I thought that was really cool. But Darth Krayt's origin beats that.
So I don't know.
Is there another big surprise in comic books?
That's a good one, Uzab.
Is there a bigger surprise in all of Star Wars?
Here's the thing with that, though. I think Dark Empire had a pretty good, because I think Matt, I think you would know, they kept that pretty hush hush what was going on. He was revealed by what, the second issue though, but like
For what,
they
Dark
never-
Empire? What?
yeah, just Dark Empire. Like they didn't reveal Sidious coming back. Well, Palpatine at the time coming back.
Oh, well, also Boba Fett. That was the first time
but
we
I was
realized-
that didn't as impress me.
Well, you didn't like when Boba Fett said that the Sarlacc found him indigestible?
Yeah, there's
That
that.
wasn't a good line? That's the greatest Boba Fett line ever.
Fuck me a little indigestible.
Oh, man.
Who keeps letting Wendig in here?
That
I
is
think
hilarious.
it's Matt.
Matt, you got to stop sending out invites to shady people.
I know.
Dylan, you can't allow your golden shower pals to come in here.
Okay, so are we done? Are there any other spoilers? Big twist.
Force Unleashed is bad.
I would say to
Get out
Uzav's
of here.
point.
Get out. Go.
Wait, Dylan, what?
So, to Uzav's point, the one I think that's a good contender, but they're kind of different because Uzab's twist to work, you only need to read KOTOR for that to work. Whereas with the crate one, the crate one requires you to have read the previous comics timeline wise that has it in it to get the full impact of that twist. Because I actually came into Legacy as my first of those comics, so I kind of know who he was prior to that, but I didn't like have any of his backstory. I just knew, oh yeah, this is an important guy in the comics. I didn't have the full aspects. So to me, the KOTOR one was a bigger twist because the one in Legacy again requires you have read the other stories that came before it.
The KOTOR one was good. I like my Battleground Tatooine twist. But Dark Crate's got to be the best one.
Yeah, oh, definitely. The only thing in any of Star Wars that comes close to me is the reveal of Abeloth. And
I'm talking about comic books.
Well, there isn't anything in comics like to me. I mean, what the Flesh Raiders showing up in Dawn of the Jedi? That's cool. But
so we're kind of done. We're kind of over spoilers now. So everyone who muted their phones.
Did you guys go over? Question to backtrack really fast. Did you guys go over Jedi the Dark Side comics? Like that's
not John Ostrander, is it?
That's not Ostrander.
No, it's not Ostrander. I was wondering if you guys had talked about that tonight.
No,
we're talking about Ostrander.
Only Ostrander.
And
I just threw a jab at you by saying that Hayden Blackman's worst work is Force Unleashed.
Okay.
Because it is.
Well, the thing is, though, there's not that many twists in comic books.
Force Unleashed 2 is worse.
Star Wars. So Legacy probably had the best one. To Scott's point, that's actually a really good point because I can't think of, besides the Knights of the Republic and Battleground Tatooine, for me, I don't know if that was a big deal for anyone else. But
what is the big reveal in KOTOR? Is that where the Sith guy with the horns appears?
Well, in the I don't want to do it because someone has unmuted their.
It happens after the main.
Back and look at the comments. Type it in the private chat. Someone.
Yeah.
For Scott, but that was nice. That was nice. I enjoyed that one. But Battleground Tatooine was a little bit better for me. And I don't think there is any other, big twists, big reveals like that.
No. With the comics, what they tended to do with the comics was it would just be like, hey, remember this character? Well, here they are again.
There wasn't that much about it. I mean, because no, I don't think that was big either. I'm trying to think of another twist. But, shoot.
Here's one.
No, we don't put it in the private chat now because I have people hey, Tim. I've had people unmute their computer. But I will say this, that there was a few deaths that were surprising. And I'm also going to put this in the private chat because I'm not going to speak about it. But didn't that character die? No, that wasn't a comic book, was it?
No, that was Jedi Quest.
Oh, yes, you're right. Okay, so then the other one, and I'm sorry, folks, this is not really, I mean, it kind of is a spoiler.
Oh, I know who you're going to bring up.
Shut up. Do you really? Well, I got to bring Tim in. Hold on.
Oh yay! Open airlock policy, Tim.
But there you go. That's great minds think alike there, Tim. But what was I going after here? Yes, that's
Okay.
who it is. I don't know if that's a spoiler because it was in a one shot, right?
It was in the
And-
Django Fett one shot. I'm gonna name the comic it's in.
Django and
Who's Sam Wessel?
Zam Vessels. Thank you, Scott. Yeah,
There were two of them. Django Fett was the
but
one.
they kind of go hand in hand.
They do. I don't know why. Here's the stupid thing. I don't know why they didn't release those two as a full trade paperback.
Well, they did. They did with the 30th anniversary.
They did, but I'm talking about just a non.
Oh no, that's a deep.
That's a blast from the past.
I get it.
No one outside of us is going to understand any of these.
I know. I
I'm shocked
love
that
it.
Evan
I
gets
love
it.
it. If you haven't figured it out, who it is by now.
Yeah, it's Chuck Wendig. I said it like 4
That's
times.
exactly who it is right now. I sent him an invite. But the what we're talking about? Oh, that death shocked me because it came out before episode 2, correct?
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that character wasn't going to be featured in episode because you memorized every person on the council. You memorized their faces because they were going to mean something later on. But then later on, it didn't amount to anything, right? It didn't amount to anything.
No.
It was
just another.
Well, I mean, but I wouldn't say anything. Some of those characters just kind of went their own way. They got their own little write-offs and stuff, but they weren't really that big of a deal. And you thought
exactly.
Look at this.
Yeah, I'll stay for a minute, and I don't have my lights on, but just to prove to you that it's exact.
Yeah, hold on, everyone. I'm going to remove everyone just a
Years
second
ago, dude.
so Tim
So
can see. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this.
And this is a rare shot of me with glasses on because most people have never seen me with glasses on. So
I'm telling you what, no one would mess with you with that shirt on. Looks nice.
there you go. Cobra Kai never dies.
No, it doesn't. But
so what are we talking about here?
Well, we're talking about Ostrander, and we were on Legacy. We kind of wrapped it up, but we were talking about the big reveal of Darth Pred and how that's probably the biggest twist the comic books ever gave us. And I think that's what Scott was talking about. Actually, I hijacked Scott's conversation. I just realized, and I'm Scott. I just Kanye Wested you, so I'm gonna let you finish. But
No.
the thing is though, Tim, I was going to say, and you can put in the private chat here, is there a bigger twist or is there another big twist? We talked about the one from Knights of the Republic. We talked about the one from Battleground Tatooine.
Comics only, right?
Comics only, yes, because we can talk about a lot of big reveals. But comic, when did they have a big reveal that just hit you?
Yeah, just keep talking. I'm going to have to think about it.
No, I know it's a great idea. But
I remember when that happened.
Yeah,
the crate thing. It was like, whoa, there's no way, and it was. So,
and I talked about Zam Wessel's one shot where it came out right before episode 2, and we didn't know that one of the Jedi Council members was going to die before the movie, and that to me was a little bit of a shocker. But again, it's not exactly a fan favorite we're talking about.
Right.
But it was a shocker to me. I was like, I remember seeing him for 2 seconds in episode 1. That was just me. I was still clutching my little pearls because I couldn't believe he'd kill off a movie character. But Scott, while he's thinking, I want you to go ahead and finish. I'm so sorry I hijacked that, but you just made a great point there, and it got me thinking.
No, it's cool. I haven't read Legacy and since it was like in single issues. I read it when it came out, but at the time I was like you. I didn't really get it. Why are they doing it so far in the future? Is this really canon? And I didn't take it as seriously at the time when I read it. I didn't know that this is actually going to, be a true part of the expanded universe. But as I read it, there were a lot of EU connections in there. Prakith, I think, appears, like some of the dark side the Sith worlds in the Deep Core, and I thought it was good. It was kind of no holds bar, like anything was fair game in that one. It was kind of wild.
I did too. Tim, thoughts on the Legacy comic book?
I only read like the first 10 issues, and
Okay.
I liked it, but that's around the time I had to drop out of reading stuff because I got really busy with life stuff, and that's why I'm picking back up stuff from like 2007 on right now. Like I'm almost done with Tempest. Never even read Legacy of the Force. I know what happens in it. You know, everyone does at this point, but actually reading it is a different experience. But yeah, I thought the comic was interesting, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone watches Open Air Like Policy. It was a couple of weeks ago. You had, remind me his name again. I'm so sorry.
Who?
The comic book discussion you had.
Oh, 24/7 Fusion
that was
Media.
Great. That was so enjoyable. That was so enjoyable because
you know who liked him? Lethal Lightning was like, who was that guy? And I'm like, oh, it's 24/7. He streams with Loki's Morning of Mischief a lot. So.
But he was showing books and talking about books that I had totally forgotten about back in the day.
Yep.
The whole Milestone DC crossover. I was like, oh, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going, who are these people? They're not Marvel.
Right.
They were out of business 5 years later. I said, it's just, and then the scratch off comic books. That was just.
What about Star Wars 3D?
What do you mean Star Wars 3D?
Yeah, by Blackthorn Publishing.
That was in the late 80s, right?
Yeah, that's not canon. And it only went 2 or 3 issues?
3.
Oh, I forgot that existed.
Doesn't that show the Millennium Falcon switching hands from Lando to Han?
No, I don't think it does. No, it only goes up to before Empire.
But it never. This is before Dark Horse got the rights, right? It was just in no man's land. Marvel had just lost it. They bought it, but they didn't have. It just shows you a mom and pop company got it. Anyone could.
But didn't Marvel reacquire the rights though because of the pizzazz thing with Dark Empire that Chris Nelson showed off in his channel? Marvel still had the rights like a couple of years before that, right?
Well,
isn't that true? Because they were advertising.
Marvel lost and Jeremy, if you know, or Scott, you know, or Dylan, I don't care. But it was. I thought that Marvel lost the rights. They picked it up for a hot minute, didn't do any, couldn't even finish the comic book. Mm-hmm. And then Darker said, we'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
Okay.
Because I can't remember if 107 was right when they lost the rights or it was when they canceled Droids the Ewoks comics.
And that was the 90s too as well, because wasn't Marvel in financial
late 80s
by that point?
It was
late. I want to say 87, 88 was when it happened.
It was 87, 88. This company got it for like half a minute. Mm-hmm. And then Jeremy, again, I think it was 90 that Dark Horse picked it up.
89 or it would have been technically, I think it was 89 they started working on Dark Empire, because Dark Empire was a weird thing. Because some of the storyline for Dark Empire is taken from what Mark Hamill wrote some notes from Return of the Jedi, where he wanted Luke to fake going to the dark side to try to bring Vader back into
the claw earring. Yeah.
Yes.
The scar and everything. And the idea formulated and to kill Han Solo.
Yes. So the Dark Empire comes from those notes.
Yeah. And Tom Beach gave a great pitch that George Lucas approved of. Everyone laughed at a clone emperor. Everyone made fun of it, called it the worst thing about the expanded universe. Thank goodness it's not canon anymore. And I don't hear those people now. It's so weird. I don't hear them complain about how awful the EU was, and that's why you had to get rid of it. That was the number one. Remember all those articles online said 5 reasons the expanded universe needed to go.
Skippy the Jedi droid.
Well, they just Skippy the Jedi droid, but then they talk about number 1, cloned emperor, so stupid. Oh yeah,
Crusher and
Islamir is probably one of them, because that was just kind of a thing.
Or Jackson, the Green Bunny
Yeah.
Rabbit that they added to the canon comics, and now has a figure that you can get.
I'm pretty sure that comes from Hidalgo. I am like 90% sure that comes
Hidalgo's
from
a troll.
I thought it was a twist when Jackson from the original Marvel comic book series, ended up being the father of Jar Jar Binks, or the son of Jar Jar. That's what I meant. So
that would have been really. You know what? I once made up a theory that Rey was Shmi, and it turned out it was actually a theory. So that's probably plausible, Matt.
But yeah, hey Ben.
But we all know the greatest character ever is Ahsoka. Ahsoka is the greatest thing that has ever been, and that will ever
Tim,
be.
You don't like
No
Ahsoka,
comment.
do you?
Who?
Ahsoka from Clone Wars?
No.
See, okay, I'm gonna be on the other end here. She's all right in Clone Wars, but no, she's all right in Clone Wars. But once you get to fucking
Okay, Evan, it's
she's
fine.
not as bad.
if you
Hold
like
on,
her.
hold on. She's not as bad as a fucking bunny, big green bunny. Let's be real here.
Wait, what is that?
She is
Well,
not.
Well, okay. You like Ahsoka. That's nice. You
I
like
appreciate-
Oh
Snips?
my god.
Should I call her Snips or Sky Guy?
Poor Evan. No, that was bad. I'm gonna admit that was bad.
Oh, look.
But that's why they stopped like doing that in later
Ryan
seasons.
feels bad.
Bring him
Right
on.
now, Evan is a chia pet without water.
By the way, I've been
See, here's the thing.
Actually, Tim, that is another good one. I just talked about
nothing's going to measure up to Crate, but that one is,
I talked
it's
about
something.
Twin Engines of Destruction just earlier, and you're right. That is a great twist.
Especially if you were into the role-playing game and you played Tatooine Manhunt and stuff, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
They use that character, so he yeeted himself.
Oh, look, Matt Stouffer's there.
I'm in charge now because I'm in the upper left.
I guess. I don't believe we've met. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Tim.
I don't believe. Nice to meet you, Tim. And I don't believe I've actually met you, Scott.
Oh, hey, Jeremy. Yeah, I've been in your chat before. I think I followed you.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, but I don't think we've ever spoken face to face. Evan, sorry for laughing. You caught me off guard with that.
all right. I've been for like the last 10 minutes. I've been looking
Dylan,
for
no one cares. Shut up.
No. I've been looking for when
Dylan?
exactly Dark Horse got the rights. I can't find it. Some
Okay.
say 86, some say 87, some say 89. If you know this information, I need it.
I do need it too because that'd be interesting to have for a project I'm working on. But
It
What
was after
happened,
we
Matt?
got the rights to Alien.
I had to let our special silent guest come in for a second.
Okay.
yeah, just I don't know. Just to defend my point, just really fast. She starts out as an annoying character, but I like to see progression in a character. She gets better as the show progresses.
I will say I liked her.
You can. The thing
No
is, you cannot
Prisoners.
deny she doesn't progress as a character.
Oh, I can't.
Puts clothes on. She progresses to be clothed. That is something that happens.
Yeah, thanks George for the idea of a tube top and skirt idea.
She is a detriment to the story arc between Obi-Wan and Anakin becoming, brothers over this war. She's in the middle and just not making it.
I don't even say that's a detriment
awful
because
chemistry.
see, I don't
It's
even
like an
think that
awful
because
TV series.
see, Matt, I don't
It's
agree
not
with
Two and a
that.
Half Jedi.
Right,
It's a comedy
here's the
series.
thing.
I'm too sober for this. Why did I quit drinking?
That sounds like a personal problem. The thing is that
I haven't.
I'm listening, Evan. I'm listening.
Just ignore me.
it
You're fine.
to me it kind of builds on that relationship Because here's the thing with Anakin and Obi-Wan. It builds on that relationship because here's the thing with that. Anakin gets an understanding of what it is to have been in Obi-Wan's position.
What? No.
Yes.
No. He didn't need, at this point, he doesn't need to say, oh, I feel sorry. I was such a jerk. They can do that while they're in the battle together, while they're having those great moments. You know what? Gina Tartakovsky, I can't remember which episode it was, but it's the episode where it's raining and they're stuck in that bunker. And
Right.
Yeah,
It's on
the
chapter
worm,
21.
whatever, and they're kind of joking to each other. That is a bonding moment. That's showing how close they're coming together. I really love that one scene. And to be honest, they could have kept the whole episode just in the bunker of them just laughing about how terrible their condition is and where they are right now. And I would have loved it. That's what we need to see in a Clone Wars series.
Right. And were like
Dave Filoni's didn't show that at all. He showed them on separate adventures sometimes. When they were together, they were Ahsoka's getting kidnapped or she runs away or this has happened.
Forget about the characters, okay? Just forget about the characters. The existence of Ahsoka is a detriment to the narrative of Revenge of the Sith because it strains credulity to even say that they don't mention her or anything in that entire movie because she was so close to him in these cartoons. For her not to be mentioned or referenced in any way, it just doesn't make any sense.
Can I jump in?
You're correct, Ben. You're correct.
But however, I will say this though in rebuttal, Tim. I will say this.
I'm helping you, Evan. I'm going to be on your side here.
Oh, okay.
Defend your point for a second.
All right, Chainsaw, you start, man.
Tim,
okay, so the only way that the only reason
Ahsoka
works in Revenge of the Sith is the only thing that ties it in is it gives Anakin a reason to think he can be on the Jedi Council because he's had a Padawan.
Is that?
Yes,
But here's another reason: is that I've always kind of.
I agree with that.
This is a thing that I've always kind of thought in my head with this explanation. What you brought up, Tim, is that Revenge of the Sith spans only 5 days. It's a week in Star Wars, and during that time, Anakin does not have any time. Anakin has literally no time to process or think of anything else besides saving the Chancellor, saving his wife. Those are the two things that are on his mind, and he's stressed the heck out during those things. And if I look at this in a real life situation, tunnel vision. You're not worried about what this person's doing or whatever. You're just worried about getting from point A to point B when you're so stressed out.
I would say this. I wouldn't have minded as much if she would have died in season 1.
Or died in the show in general. I would.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree with that.
Because I'll be honest. Like let's say, and let's just hypothesize here that what if she dies in a battle and Anakin tried to do everything he could to stop it and he couldn't. That would be good motivation for him to turn, to take one step closer to the dark side. If she was used as a tool for that, you would have a talking point.
Well,
yeah.
No, I have to say that is a good idea, and that was one that they decided not to go forward with.
That was George's idea to begin with, though.
Yeah,
that Ahsoka be killed off.
She had to die. Yeah.
However, by the end of it, George relented.
No, Filoni just didn't want to end. He wanted her to run away from the Jedi.
He
wanted her to fight Darth Maul with his robot button legs on Mandalore with a bunch of Mandalorians we don't care about.
Yeah, that is stupid. Like, honestly, that is the stupid. Like, here's the thing. I'm not going to blindly defend the show, and some of it is stupid as heck. It is stupid as heck. And some of the creative decisions suck.
Well, what sounds like Ben would have your back there.
And I see some people in the chat talking about the council one. It's not so much the council, because non-masters can be on the council. It's more of the fact that he wants the rank of master, and the only prerequisite to the rank of master is having trained a Padawan to knighthood is the technical restriction. But if he's going to be a master, both him and the council needs to have some understanding that he has met either arguably or inarguably that prerequisite for all those conversations to have happened the way that they did.
Right.
That's more of the point of he needs to have some form of apprentice in order for all that to make sense. Not necessarily that it has to be Ahsoka.
Right, and here's the thing I will argue with this, because I'm only talking the Clone Wars in terms of up to season 6. All right, we're only talking about what has officially been deemed within the cutoff for the continuity for Legends. All right, I'm only talking in terms of that. I'm not talking season 7, this final season. I'm really not talking that, because season 7, yes, this stuff happened, but in terms of the continuity, this bears little significance to what actually happens, because what happens in season 7, the final season, is only in new canon, which Tim can, not calling it a canon, but but the thing is, it's like just taking just 1 through 6 into account. We're just talking 1 through 6. The rest doesn't matter. Once Ahsoka leaves, she leaves.
Well, hold on. Is the off switch located behind your neck or between your shoulder blades?
I don't have an off switch.
The off switch is on your
it's in my belly
keyboard,
button.
Matt.
That's you know that, right? Scott,
got to look in the manual.
You need a restraining bolt for Evan. That's what you need.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great. I would love to get a restraining bolt. That'd be
You
great.
get a restraining order.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God! We don't need to be flagged.
Hold
So
on.
me being on the stream, what the heck are you guys talking
Thoughts
about?
on Ahsoka?
So I didn't like her at all. I didn't like Clone Wars in general. The day I saw it in theaters, I saw the movie when it came out. The first day it came out, and I was just so disappointed with it.
Me too, man.
I just left the theater hanging my head, and as the episodes streamed or whatever, I watched them, but I was never really that into it. I thought the best episodes were the ones with the clones.
That's what a lot of people think.
Like the old guy, I forget his name, but
Rex?
No, the old guy, 99.
Yeah, 99. When he actually got to see some action, I think it was on the Battle of Camino, or one of those Camino battles. I thought that was the best arc in my opinion. Most of the rest of them I didn't like. When Maul came back, I was like, that's it.
What I was going to say. In season 4, it seemed like everything just started taking a big dip.
I would say season 3.
See, I wouldn't even say that.
When they started airing things out of order.
But the thing is, though, when it came to season 4, I felt like it was going too long in the tooth. Plus, the Clone Wars story arcs that we were getting, I agree with Scott here. I thought those were really good. If he would have just kept and told stories like that, but it seems like whenever he couldn't get Anakin or Obi-Wan right, in my opinion, and Ahsoka just destroyed their whole relationship. It was a big distraction, or as Tim clarified, as a detriment to the relationship, which I agree.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even the voice acting for Anakin really bothered me. I didn't like it. He didn't get his character right at all. He seemed like a Disney character even before. This was actually
twang a little bit too.
The tone for the voice is right. The accent is not. So he
had a southern twang.
Hold on,
not as bad as Wilkins here, but
Matt. Matt Lantern is his name. He comes from Ohio, actually.
I want to clarify this. Whoever is hijacked Ryan Kennel's channel, I'm going to report you. Okay.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm going to stand by. I mean, you stand by your stuff.
Well, Evan, what you do is you say, guys, to make up for beating up on me, go watch our commentary that we recorded the Friday before last for Star Wars Episode 4: New Hope.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Matt, I'm not asking anymore. We are going to do commentary for Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, we need to do that. I'm sorry,
Matt. When are you and I going to do commentary on the Warriors? Something not Star Wars or a Highlander maybe.
When are we doing that baseball podcast?
These days. Okay, thank you, Scott. Do you have another random request? I want to know when I'm doing Babylon 5. That's what I want to know.
Next month when Teresa's back from vacation.
Oh, I didn't know she was on vacation.
Yeah, she's on vacation.
Okay.
I guess kind of getting back to the comic discussion. This is something I think I've talked about a bit because I have an example of that. But I want to know if you guys have one. What's an example of a comic that you absolutely love? Like you love the story, but like the art just like doesn't do it for you.
Lots.
Because for me, it's Tales of the Jedi. I love Tales of the Jedi. It's one of my favorite stories ever. But like it just the art
Get the
is
fuck
like
out.
I'm sorry, I don't like the art of
No,
Tales
you're
of the
not.
Jedi.
You're sitting on a piss couch. Kick him off of the stream. Put Ryan on.
Underworld
I've had
comes
enough
to
of
mind.
Dylan.
It doesn't ruin ruin it for me. I will come back to it. I just
I am triggered.
I will see that, and I raise you the entire Crimson Empire trilogy. That art, I'm sorry,
Kick them both
but
off. Get them out of here.
no, Crimson Empire's art. The person does
Ben-
not know how to draw anatomy right.
Ben's raising his voice at Dylan. I'm kidding, Ben. There you go. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not going to say Dark Empire because I like Cam Kennedy's unique art style.
I mean,
Dark Empire's good. No, his
I would
lines
say
are
the
good.
coloring was terrible.
Yeah, the coloring is awful. The lines are all
Ink is
there.
bad.
If you recolor it, it's very palatable. But I also do like it's a unique style. I will give Dark Empire that. But it
So,
just
does
is
anyone else
bad.
have an answer for that?
Yeah, Underworld, the Yavin Vascula.
Yeah, that's heinous.
That's a good story, but the art is not good on that at all.
No, here's the thing. I wouldn't even say
pick.
it's. See, I wouldn't say that because the art is stylized with that one. The thing is he on model?
The Crimson Empire's bad.
No, here's the thing: is he on model? Are all his characters relatively on model to what he drew for that comic? That's what you need to look at. Is
OG, if you're still here, what's your favorite one? Sorry, I wanted to ask that. You're unmuted now.
Anyway, no, but the thing is it needs to be the art needs to be consistent. So the thing is with Crimson Empire, which I'm an artist. I'm going to say that right now. I'm an artist, and I've drawn for many years. I went to school for graphic design, but so when you look at Crimson Empire, his art isn't consistent, and that's what makes it bad. Is that he can't stay on model for his own characters he's drawing here. That's the big thing with me.
What's not consistent? I thought
the eyes are too big. The anatomy of some characters are very off in some panels compared to others. It's just, to me, it's a mess. I'd have to say.
I don't think we can talk about anatomy here. I think that's pushing the lines.
Heir to the Empire comic, terrible art.
Oh yeah, when everyone has a blue lightsaber.
Garbage tier.
That Heir to the Empire is bad.
Oh my God.
As I recall, Dark Force Rising Last Command had fine art. It wasn't great, but it was
Dark Force
passable.
Rising has great art. It's by what's his name? He did Spider-Man comic back in like the 2000s with a black cat. It's Dodson's. Dodson does really good art. I'm sorry, but I like Dark Empire, not Dark Empires, Dark Force Rising's art, like his line.
Yeah, no, specifically Heir to the Empire. I remember not only the line work was like weird and like really soft, but like the coloring was all shades of blue. But it wasn't. It was like they didn't want to commit to Dark Empire, but they wanted to kind of do that again. It just felt half-assed.
I think if you're reading the Dark Empire or the Thrawn trilogy in comic book form anyway, you're making a mistake. Yeah. You just read the book.
Yeah,
I think that's a cheating question because it's like the story is good, but the art is not. Well, I mean, I wouldn't classify the comics of Thrawn trilogy having a good story because it's just the same story as the comic, the books.
Mm-hmm.
It's even
maybe it's not like original.
Less of a story.
It's abridged.
It's an adaptation.
I want to ask Scott if there's a comic book where the art's bad but the story's good. That was a good pick, Tim, for Underworld. I'd forgotten about that.
I said Underworld.
You said Underworld, Scott. That was a good pick.
Underworld.
I just like how it connects to AC Crispin's trilogy. I think that's amazing.
It's
like really random too.
It also ties to Jedi Dawn as well.
Laura, I was asking you earlier if there was a comic book where the story was good but the art was weak, what'd you pick? And Ryan, if you want to come on and replace Evan, just let me know.
Or Dylan. Dylan's literally adding nothing to this except for
What
a
do you mean?
urine couch and a bat toupee.
What do you mean? I added a topic just because you disagree.
Dylan's Pika.
Hey, can we circle back to one thing? We were talking about the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. If you go way back, and most of us are old enough here, until like the prequels in lore, Obi-Wan was not a master. He was a Jedi Knight.
Oh, yep.
If you look in all the novelizations and the comics and the role playing, he was a Jedi Knight until you got to the prequels. Suddenly, he was a Jedi Master. So, all this stuff is kind of something Lucas, I think, invented, and that's it. It was his right at the time, and then they came with this rule that okay, you have to master an apprentice and all this stuff. So, he was a Jedi Knight throughout the 70s, 80s, and most of the 90s.
That's exactly right.
Ben, I'm going to write that to Evan. Oh, and Evan, Ryan wanted to tell you this.
I'm in bed. Good. I was too when I was in the comment section originally, and then I came in here, put a shirt on, and now I'm on the stream.
Thank you for doing that.
Look at Matt.
Look
I
at
didn't know I'd break Matt.
literally adding nothing.
I decided to put a shirt on, and I'm glad. It would have been great if you'd done a George of the Jungle in here and just swung it on the vine.
George the Jungle.
It's also called
Wow.
Tristan. Yeah, let's
my
act
God.
like that didn't happen.
If he was here right now, I'd bring him on. Just as a little. We used to know a guy who'd get on Skype and he just would come on and he'd be laying like supposed to. He's like just in without a shirt on.
Burt Reynolds, yeah.
I was like, Burt Reynolds style, circa 1970. I'm like, dude, put a shirt on. He's like, I'm in bed. I said, I see that, and you're kind of posing kind of weird there. So put a shirt on.
Matt,
Yes, really
nothing
fast.
tops when let me finish.
Okay,
this.
yep, you're welcome. Yep.
So my sister, back when I lived with my family, my sister walked in my bedroom, and Tristan looks at her, and he takes his shirt off, and he starts flexing.
I remember that.
Okay, hold on. One last one. There was him and someone else. I won't mention his name, but we popped it on the Skype, and they're both shirtless, and they're both asleep. And the Skype is still going. And I'm a joke that Tristan had his hand on the screen. And they had their hands on the screen. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. It was so funny. Those were the good old days, though. Let me see.
We had some wild podcasts.
I will agree with this statement by Alora here because I honestly don't like Brian King's work for the most part. A lot of it is sloppy, in my opinion. It's stylized, but it's I don't know. It's not great stylized. It's sloppy stylized.
Ben, we just spoke about this way earlier now, but Jeremy got an autograph from her, an autograph comic. I've
got an autograph of Dursima. I've got one in my episode 2 trade paperback.
And Dylan and I backed Hexer Dusk when she and John Ostrander were doing that. We just got our copies a few months ago of that finally. I actually got to talk to her because it was going to go to the wrong address. We just talked about this like an hour ago. But she's really nice. She's a really nice person. It was really, really cool.
Here's a good full page of Hexer Dusk.
Here, Dylan. I'll hold on.
Yeah, I've seen her modern work, and she's still really good. Like,
she still slaps, as it were.
Mm-hmm. No, like here's the thing. Like her early, you can tell she improved over the Republic run. But if you look at her work in what was it?
Okay.
It was Twilight. If we look at Twilight and compare that to Dawn of the Jedi, Force War, You can
Well,
see
if
a
we
major
compare
improvement.
Twilight to just about any other book series, it's going to the other book series is going to win.
Damn you, Chris. Damn you.
Chris, that's what I needed.
Oh,
That's what I
man.
needed. Let me ask you this, because I was way earlier when we started this when there was 2 people watching. I was talking about James Hargrove. I don't know if anyone here has read the Firefly novels. James Hargrove is great. He's fantastic. And I thought, wow, I think he would do a Star Wars book justice, just because he gets the character so well. So I want to ask you this, was there an artist or comic book author, because we were just trying to keep this on comic books, that you would have wished would have been part of the EU in some way, shape, fashion, or form?
You see, I used to say Charles Soule because I really liked his early Marvel work, and now he's done Star Wars, and I think it's terrible.
What did he do?
Yeah,
New
he
canon?
did.
The Vader
Yes,
stuff.
he's done a ton. I mean, he just got a novel. He did the Light of the Jedi novel.
Oh, I'm
Which-
sorry.
Yeah, he's big on
Yeah,
he's big on the High Republic team now.
yeah,
Tim's a big
It's-
High Republic fan.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time.
Oh, big
There's
guy.
should've
another
brought-
one coming out soon, right?
I'm a fan of it because I like to talk about it on my
He likes
streams.
talking shit about it.
I like.
He likes talking about the shit that it is.
I hear people talking about Jim Lee. Yes, I would have loved to see Jim Lee's art. I always enjoy Jim Lee's art.
Mhm.
You got.
I mean,
Delphion. Oh, go ahead.
you know who would have been great? Michael Turner's art in Star Wars.
Well,
back
yeah.
What
would have been great is-
While we're talking about, why don't we have Aaron Alston write it?
Yeah, seriously. That would,
Imagine-
that's the dream team.
Imagine Garth Ennis writing a really gritty adult Star Wars comic
He
series.
wrote a Star Wars.
Are you
Tales
lying?
short.
Who?
No,
what
he
did you-
wrote-
Was that
Tales
Devil
short.
Worlds? Was that Devil
No,
Worlds?
that's
That's
what was that?
Frank
It's
Miller.
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore. You're right.
Alan Moore.
What did he
They're
write?
both crazy people. It's a stormtrooper short. It's not very
Was it
memorable.
Trooper?
Okay.
Was
I
it
think it is,
new
yeah.
canon?
No, it was in
It was
Tales.
in Tales.
Really? I do
No, I was
not.
going
Yeah,
to
he
say
started-
Tales. Yeah.
Trooper,
It-
it was honestly. Here's the thing with that is that I hate how that's not canonical.
Look at Tim Sale.
I think it is.
No, it's
technically.
not. Leland said
Oh.
it's not, which dumb. I'm done following what he thinks.
But Leland
is-
Chee said the Clone Wars is canonical, so you got to
You-
take that with a grain of salt.
I mean,
Scott,
it is,
Scott,
but,
is there an
yeah.
author or artist?
I don't read a lot of other comic books
That's
besides
fine.
Star Wars, so
Yeah.
I can't really.
I mean,
Yeah.
Chuck Dixon
Same.
did Grievous, and I love Dixon. So
That's
I'll take
right.
it.
I was going to say
Dixon
Chuck
does-
Dixon.
I would say Chuck Dixon, but he already did the Grievous. And to be honest, I was excited. I didn't want to see a General Grievous comic book issue series. But when I saw Dixon's name attached, it's like, yep, he did a good job.
He
There's
did.
actually-
That's a solid mini.
There's actually I realized this. I forget what I was doing, but I was going through a bunch of the Star Wars comic authors at one. Oh, it was for like that tier list I was making. Anyway, I found out that there's a lot of big names in comics that have like one singular addition to the Star Wars, to the Star Wars things, and it's like they did one comic in Tales. And it's
Yeah.
like, here's this big comic book artist, and his contribution is like one random comic in Tales. And there was like 10 or 15 examples of that I was finding as I was going through the authors of all these Tales books.
That was a good way to bring them in because they could write something short and they didn't need a big long
It
series.
was like a testing ground for
Right.
a lot of people.
Evan, I think Ryan fell asleep.
Oh, no.
I just
Oh,
wanted to give
no.
you an update.
What time is it there? It's not even that late there. It's what?
It's
Okay,
10:13.
whoa. Do your stalking when I'm done with this stream.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're just going to have to replace you with OG Star Wars.
Well, I think that I tried. Well, I think I'll wrap it up there.
I know you tried because you put
Thank-
Dylan on here instead.
Everyone, check out Dylan. Dylan's putting in the latest and greatest news on the expandeduniverse.com. Tim's article finally hit.
Oh, did it?
played Jorah Sabath. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Jeremy is still MIA on articles right now. He has.
I have nothing to write.
I need to write an article
here. Evan, for some reason, is still talking. Scott is doing his articles are about to come out later on the collectible card game. And the thing is, I keep thinking that all this stuff has been published because I'm the one that reads it over and checks for errors and whatnot. And I've been reading it. And it's hard for me to tell what's come out and what hasn't, but those have not come out yet. But those are really good. I was never a fan of the CCG myself, but it actually had a lot more interesting facts than even I knew. Mm-hmm. And I sold those cards back in the day. I worked at a car. I lived the dream one time. I sold comics and baseball cards, sports cards back in college.
And Magic the Gathering, I'm sure.
Magic the Gathering was hot back then. We sold Magic the Gathering.
That was when it first came out, right?
CCG, yeah. I remember when the episode 1, the thing is, those boxes of unopened episode 1
you got any
cards, now they're worth thousands of dollars.
Ridiculous.
And back then, we sold them. We bought several because episode 1 was so big. We bought several of them back then and didn't sell them.
Yeah, because everyone hated the movie, allegedly.
Holy cow! I wonder if that dude still has them in a storage.
Oh man!
Ask.
Yeah, check out my article. I'm talking about those. I'm talking about those very books. My latest article.
Yes,
Matt, blow me up.
Books.
Matt, reach out to that guy and check and see if he still has
them. Oh no! It's you know what? I see him everywhere. He's my old boss, and either he sold it all or he still has it in storage. And I will ask him. Next time I see him, because we packed up real quick. The mall screwed us over, tore up the contract, and moved us to was going to move us to the back end of the mall. We had a prime position, prime real estate. And they said, nope, we're moving to the back. And went, well, then I'm gone. And so he just packed up stuff. Now he's sold a bunch of stuff since then, but stuff like that may still be just sitting in a storage room. And if it is,
send me a pack.
I don't know, but I'll have to look that over. I know Scott's getting kind of antsy just thinking about that buried treasure, but
yeah, because I didn't have a local game store in my area. The only place I could buy cards is when we went on vacation as a kid. There was a card store near where we vacationed at.
But I remember we got those. I had zero interest in it, and I didn't know that was when it ended too, because a lot of people just moved on. But well, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, folks.
Matt, should you plug these?
You definitely want to.
Because we didn't even talk about this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't talk about these.
I've talked about them, but go ahead.
Yeah. New. Well, not new, but recently re-released in full-on trade paperback form for Path of Destruction and Heir to the Empire. And Dylan, jog my memory.
Shatterpoint's the other one.
Shatterpoint got its first unabridged audiobook, which
is exciting. That is
which I will be tackling very soon and probably reviewing.
And we talked about this earlier this week, Jeremy. I do wish they would all come out unabridged.
They need to, and I hope that's the plan going forward with this.
Right.
Shatterpoint is very hard to find for some reason at physical stores. We've had a lot of people go out. We've had a lot of people go out to look for them at bookstores. They're finding like 4 or 5 copies of Path of Destruction, Heir to the Empire. They're not finding Shatterpoint. Yeah. I went to 3 Barnes and Noble. I only found it at one. At one that I asked about them, they asked like, "Hey, do you have this book? It like just came out." And they say, "Oh, we just never ordered it."
What?
That's odd.
They're being really picky about because Star Wars is like not selling. The new canon's not
selling.
We've been reporting about that for years.
Well,
so they've shrunk the Star Wars.
I did. I mentioned it in my latest article.
I'm sorry, I haven't read it yet.
This is true. This is true.
Real quick. So Evan, what's going on